My name's Hanania, and I'm running for president of Palestine. And the reason I'm running is not because I expect to win, but because I want to help build a movement to re-energize the peace process from a grassroots level. Regular people need to get back into the political process. For too long, we've left our leaders, Palestinians and Israelis, to do what they think they should do. And the problem is they don't have the courage to stand up and do the right thing because they don't believe the people are behind them. We need to do something to build up and strengthen that movement for peace, because I know Israelis and Palestinians deep down, despite all the atrocities, the violence, the tragedy, the suffering, the emotion, the anger, the hatred, despite all that, deep down we are the same people. Israelis, Palestinians, Jews, and Arabs. We're very emotional. We sometimes allow our emotions to get the better of us. I believe what we need to do is re-energize the two-state solution as the only answer for peace. We have to do it. And that's why I'm running for president of Palestine. That's why I'm also encouraging everybody out there to create a YouTube video just like this to tell people why you support two states and why it is the solution. And we need people to say out loud, enough is enough. Yalla Peace. Yalla, let's do it. Two states, Palestine and Israel. We need to build back the trust that we can trust each other. I know we can trust each other. I know the majority of people are good. There will be extremists on both sides. Unfortunately, they get into government when we, the people, don't stand up and tell them we want them to do the right thing. As a Palestinian, what do I envision for peace? What do I envision for two states? It's very simple. Palestine in the West Bank and Gaza, Israel where it's at, with some land concessions. Palestinians should be ready to recognize the reality of our fight. The failure of our battle has created things that cannot be turned back. Some of the settlements will have to stay. But in exchange for those settlements, Palestine should receive land from Israel equal to the amount of land that Israel keeps in the West Bank for those settlements. I believe that we can connect Gaza and the West Bank together with an underground railroad system. I think that can be done. I also believe that when it comes to the issue of the Palestinian refugees, the Palestinians need to compromise, but so too must Israel. And what is that compromise? Palestinians must acknowledge that those refugees cannot 3-4 generations later go back to the original homes and lands they once owned legally and rightfully. We compromise things that we believe are right. We have to do it for the sake of peace and to stop the violence. So the refugees would not go back. They would instead become citizens of Palestine, a Palestinian state. Israel would acknowledge, as part of this, the suffering that they helped cause by the creation of Israel and through the constant wars that were caused by both sides. But Israel needs to acknowledge their role in this. Israel, the United States, the United Nations, and the world community, including the Arab world, should set up a fund to help the refugees, the Palestinian refugees, get their lives back, leave these camps, or turn their camps into cities, and build them up into something respectable where they can stand up and feel at least they have some place that they can call home. The Palestinians should do the same thing and the Arab world should join them to help compensate those Jews who lost lands and homes in Arab countries for whatever reason, who left those homes to go to Israel. This conflict has created great tension between our people, and regardless of whether someone was forced out or intimidated out, through the conflict, we need to recognize them all as being the same. There should be a Palestinian government in East Jerusalem. I should have the right, and every Palestinian should have the right to live there. These things can be done. We can travel between countries. We can work all that out. The government of Israel needs to acknowledge that they have to freeze the settlements and stop expanding them. They have to be ready. Are they willing to give up their desire to take all that land in exchange for peace, to live in peace with the Arab world? And I think that there's room for compromise between Palestinians and Israelis. We can do it. Two states can work. We need to tell the government of the Palestinians that we're willing to do the right thing this time. And the Israelis need to tell their government that Israelis are ready to do the right thing. Stop the settlements. Be ready to make real concessions. Give Palestine the land it needs to be a sovereign state, and give them a presence in Jerusalem. Acknowledge the refugees. Build a fund to help them rebuild their lives. We can do great things together as Palestinians and Israelis. I believe that. That's why I'm doing it. Do a video on YouTube just like this and tell the world why you support two states. I'm Ray Hanania. Go to my website or look me up on Facebook and join the movement to bring change. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.